This is the 37th graduation exercise of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Welcome one and all. If you are in St. Lucia or if you are abroad, we are happy to have you here with us at the Royalton Resort St. Lucia for the graduation exercise of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. We have over 200 students graduating here today with their parents and well-wishers. And we know that we have some graduates who are online watching, and we want them to be part of this ceremony. So stay with us for the next 2 hours. We will begin in just about 15 minutes for the procession of graduates, for speeches from our government official, from our valedictorian, and our prized guest speaker. So just before the start of the ceremony, we are going to give you a preview into some of the attendees here, so you have a view that our inside audience don't even have. We have lined up to speak with us today the new principal of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, who will be joining us shortly, the deputy chair of the board, as well as outstanding graduates from various programs. And like I said, this is our 37th exercise. The college, the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, was established under the Act of 1985, which brought all the divisions together. And every year, we see some luminaries emanating from this institution, and we are so proud once again to set them out into the society. So my name is Natalie Jolie Fanis, and I'm very pleased to be your host for this part of the event. Hosting the graduation ceremony today is Dr. Kathy Depredin, and we will be going to her as soon as the ceremony begins. But right now, I would like to invite to speak with us our new principal of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Dr. Marjorie Jameson Charles, who is just a few months into a stint. Welcome, Dr. Charles. I have her join me here. Good afternoon, Dr. Charles.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am well, thank you. What about you?
I'm well, thanks. Just in between, emotions and stuff.
Yeah. So this is your first ceremony.
Yes,
first ceremony you'll be officiating as principal of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Tell us about those emotions.
Okay, I have kind of what you call mixed emotions about a number of things, But in terms of the graduation, I'm kind of excited. I'm full of anticipation in terms of what's new and what's going to be happening, and especially Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, because I know we have such promise, and I know that with all of that promise, a lot of things are going to happen at Sir Arthur Lewis Community College.
So tell us, how has your journey at the college been thus far?
Very good, very smooth. I have some good staff. My managers are superb. I must congratulate them here. And the support is there. And as I said to you, when coming into Sir Arthur Lewis Community College and doing my initial, my initial walks, talking to the students, working with my staff, I know there is support. And I know that in terms of energy, we have that energy. We just have to ensure that we channel that energy into what we want the college to be. But as I said early on, the support is there, and I want to commend my staff for all the support they have given me since I'm here. Yeah.
So, as a new principal coming in, and this will ask, what are your, not your goals for the college? What do you want to see at least one of them?
Okay, my most pressing thing is look at the teaching learning environment and see how we can make that teaching learning environment something that the students, when they leave here, they will say, yes, I had a good time at Sir Arthur Lewis. My lecturers were superb, the whole atmosphere was good, and so on. So we need to ensure, as long as our students are happy, and our lecturers are happy, and the teaching learning environment is conducive for learning, and me as an educational psychologist, that would be my first thing. So given that, my goal is to enhance the teaching learning environment.
And that fits perfectly in with what's happening here because we want these graduates to say they had a good experience.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us and
problem.
enjoy the ceremony, your very first.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. That was Dr. Marjorie Jameson Charles, new principal of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. And right on her heels, we are going to invite the the deputy chair of the board to join us. Unfortunately, the chair couldn't be here for this ceremony. And we invite the deputy chair of the board, Ms. Fortuna Anthony, who's no stranger to the college. This is her second stint on the Board of Governors of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Welcome, Ms. Anthony.
Thank you very much, madam.
So tell us, this is not your first ceremony, but what are your expectations for this ceremony today?
Well, my expectations are that Sir Arthur will live to his usual high standard and quality, and the emphasis today is on students. So I'm looking forward to students being awarded and students' success being in the forefront because as a board member, our focus is really on students and student learning, and we want our students to know that. We want members of the public to be aware that this is what Sir Arthur Lewis community is all about, providing students with an experience that they will leave Sir Arthur Lewis with the kind of memories that will help them grow and succeed in life.
So great, that sounds really good. So you've been on the board for the last 2 years. Can you speak to one thing that would really encourage that kind of experience that you want for the students?
Well, Sir Arthur Lewis, the board has looked at the setting up of various faculties, and one that we made sure is now functioning is the student experience. We have brought in a very experienced educator, and we are going to strengthen that department so that students who need, and when I say not just academic, but we are going to look at the student holistically, and this is what this faculty is going to do for us.
Great. So that is excellent, and as a student advocate, I would fully endorse that. So Ms. Anthony, on behalf of your board, if you could send a message out to the graduates today, and even to aspiring students who want to come to the college, what would that message be?
I can say to you that I would say to them, just as I said to a young lady from the South who said to me, Miss, I've been at it for 5 years, and I said to her, persistency is needed if you want to succeed. I want the students to believe in themselves, to be their best selves, and to develop themselves, set their goals, so that as they journey, because this is just part of the journey, when they go out there, be their best self and be good ambassadors for Sir Arthur Lewis Community College.
Thank you so much. It's an excellent note to end on. Please enjoy the ceremony, and we will see you inside.
Thank you.
That was Ms. Fortuna Anthony. She is the deputy chair of the board of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, and we were happy to have her and Dr. Jameson Charles speak to us. We did try to involve some of our students who are overseas already at university, and we would want to take in a video from one of those students now before we speak to our valedictorian who is in the waiting. So let me have Master Control go to the video of one of our students now based overseas. Now.
Hi, my name is Joyeux Constantine, a current student of the University of the West Indies and former student of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, where I pursued the pre-college courses of Cape Law, Cape Sociology, and Cape Literatures in English. My journey and experience at the college was generally one that was very challenging, but looking back, very necessary and rewarding. Without that experience, I would not be able to tune myself to university life as well as I have. It has definitely increased my adaptability. In terms of the achievement of graduation and what it means to me, I would say that it instills a level of pride and self-confidence in me. And really and truly, I hope that it does that for each and every person that is graduating alongside of me.
So I hope you enjoyed hearing from, well, he's almost an alumni now, and what his journey was like at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. We are always pleased to see our students excel, and we do have some exceptional students here at the college, and they will be honored this afternoon. So each of the departments will honor the highest achiever, and all of those highest achievers were given an opportunity to become valedictorian for the 2023 graduating class. And the one who came out on top, we have her here with us this afternoon. Let me invite Miss Elainey Joyeux to join me here this afternoon. Welcome, Elainey, and congratulations on your graduation and on becoming valedictorian for your class. How does that feel?
It feels great. I did not expect it, for one. I'm just happy to represent each and every student here today and give a speech that inspires every single one of the audience members.
So tell us a little bit about the program that you were enrolled in and what it was like completing that program over the 2 years.
So the program I did was called Sociological Thought and Change. It's basically an associate's degree in sociology. I picked it because I've always had a love for learning about the society and what makes the society run and the individuals that are part of it. For me, it was very interesting because we had a small class, and for the last 2 years, I basically only had about 6 classmates in most of my classes. So we became very tight-knit and connected with our teachers. We learned a lot, and the experience was just wonderful.
So, Elainey, I have the privilege of knowing that you are more than just a sociology student, that you were also the president of our Creative and Performing Arts Club, right?
Yes.
Yes, so tell us about your extracurricular and how you were able to develop and foster those additional talents that you have.
So I've always had a love for the performing arts. I love to dance and I act. So when I entered SAFA, I heard about the Creative and Performing Arts Club. So I joined it. During the year we had school online. So we mostly had discussions at first until our second semester where we were able to come into the school, and that was my only form of physical interaction with my fellow schoolmates. So it really fostered that relationship that I did not get to have, especially coming from virtual secondary school into a virtual Arthur Lewis. So we created a nice bond, and when we got to physical school in second year, my peers asked me to go up for president, and I wasn't sure at first, but I did have a willingness to do it. So I went up and I was able to help my students, my classmates, develop their talents. And it's nice to see that they perform academically and they have those talents to foster and bring a creative aspect to the school.
Great. So overall, how would you describe your experience and what would you say to students in lower school who are thinking of what next for them?
My experience was a little challenging because I'm not the best at online school, but I made it work. I pushed through. You have to be very disciplined, especially when it comes to online school, but we've moved past that right now. So coming to SAFA, it helps you develop and mature as an individual, and you get to expand your knowledge. Whatever program you choose, the teachers here are very well versed. They know what they're doing. They care about their students. So to those who are coming to SAFA or thinking about doing it, I would advise you to do it. It's a time where you get to express yourself. It's not the same as secondary school, so you get to be yourself more. And it's a time between here and higher education that you just develop your knowledge to a further extent.
Thank you so much, Elainey, for joining us, and congratulations once again. Yes, so we continue with our interviews here this afternoon. I can still see parents streaming in, and we have another student in waiting, and I'm going to invite her to come as we see them lining up outside and getting ready to start in at the ceremony. So come and join us. Hello, and how are you? Congratulations on your graduation here this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
So tell me your name and what program you represent.
Okay, my name is Adija Labadi and I represent the Tourism, Hospitality Management and Tourism Bachelor Program.
Excellent. So you know that you are the first to graduate from our new program, our new bachelor's in tourism and hospitality. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, being the first, it was a bit nerve-wracking because we did not know what to expect. We were not sure if we would have new lecturers and possibly how the program would pan out. And we did have a few hiccups at the beginning, but we were able to overcome that thanks to the help of our lecturers and God. So we're just thankful to be here.
So did you complete the associate degree with Sir Arthur Lewis first?
Yes, I did.
And you did an additional 2 years to complete your bachelor's?
Yes.
So what is your future in that field?
Well, moving forward, I would like to complete my master's in hospitality management, but that's a little later down the line.
So currently, how are you using it?
Well, I was attending school full-time and working part-time, so now it's time to put the knowledge into the working life.
So do you intend to remain in the hospitality industry?
I do intend to remain in the hospitality industry.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for being part of our first cohort of students of the bachelor's program.
Thank you, it was an honor.
Great. So we are almost at the start of the program. I was expecting a few more students to come through, but we do have another video, 2 other videos of students who were exceptional in their time at the college. They were very active in student life, and we're taking another video right now.
Hi, my name is Jay Thomas, and I have just completed my associate's degree in architectural technology at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. These last 2 years have proved to be very stressful but extremely rewarding. Many deadlines missed and met, many friends for life made, and many events and memories that I will truly never forget. Things like the poetry slams, the de-stress campus mass, many sporting events have truly contributed to making these last 2 years truly unforgettable. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Candy Modest, and I pursued a certificate in Pathways to Medicine with an associate degree in biology. Over the past 2 years, I can say that my experience at SALCC was indeed very tasking, as it began with a hybrid modality of learning amongst its other challenges. However, my experience was overall gratifying and a worthwhile one, as it brought me one step closer to becoming Dr. Candy Modest. To my fellow graduates, congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us for this preview into the 2023 graduation ceremony of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. It is now time for the academic procession. We are about to start the official ceremony, and we take you to the main stage for our host, Dr. Kathy Depredin. So stay tuned and please enjoy the ceremony.
I know you must be anxious to see your graduates come in. They shall be there shortly. now process in. They are followed They are followed by the registrar of the college and other senior college officials. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you stand for the national anthem of St. Lucia. Please remain standing as we invite Pastor John Peters, who will do the invocation.
Let me first congratulate you for your achievements, graduates today, and join with you in thanking the dedicated staff and teachers of the St. Louis Community College and your support of your parents and friends over the years. I've been asked to pray for this graduation ceremony, and I shall do so now. Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here today to celebrate at this graduation ceremony. This is indeed testimony of your love and kindness towards us. We give you thanks above all, Father, that today we can bless every one of these graduating students. And I ask that you shower them with your divine wisdom, which will allow them to make right choices in their lives. I ask, God, that you will protect them and keep them. Thank you for this day in their lives. You said in your word that if 2 or 3 are gathered together with the singularity of purpose to honor you, that you will leave your heavenly throne and dwell among such a people. We do qualify today for your presence among us. And we ask, God, that you will come even now and so dwell in this place. And this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Peters. Please sit, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, Minister for the Public Service, Home Affairs, Labor, and Gender Affairs, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Ms. Fortuna Anthony, Deputy Chair of the Board of Governors of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, officials of the Ministry of Education, members of the Board of Governors of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Dr. Marjorie Jameson Charles, Principal of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, managers, academic heads, faculty, and staff of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, specially invited guests, parents, guardians, and loved ones of the graduates, the viewing public, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us to witness the 37th graduation exercises of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Today, we celebrate the achievements of yet another group of dedicated, talented, and resilient individuals who are ready to make their mark on St. Lucia and, by extension, the world. I am Kathy Depredine and will serve as the Director of Proceedings this afternoon. To begin, I would like to call on Ms. Fortuna Anthony, who is the Deputy Chair of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College Board of Governors, to present our welcome remarks. Ms. Anthony.
Thank you ever so much, Dr. Depredine. Let me adopt the protocol that has been set, but I need to say special welcome to Honorable Dr. Virginia Poyot, who is here with us, and Mr. Poyot, and our ambassadors as well. Let me say a very special welcome to everyone. I am ever so happy to see some of our past persons who have served Sir Arthur Lewis diligently. Let me say that I am stepping in for Mr. Cletus Springer, our chair of the board, who is unfortunately out of state. It is always said that there is always need for a deputy. So this afternoon, I'll be reading to you prepared address that Mr. Springer has prepared. He says, on behalf of fellow governors of the board of our beloved Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, and on his own behalf, and I will say my behalf as well, I warmly congratulate you and your families, friends, and loved ones on your attainment of this significant milestone in your lives. Your joy and relief at arriving at this stage in your personal development is evident in your faces today. Life is about setting goals and working towards achieving them. Over the course of your lives, you will have set many goals. Now that you have, and now that you know what you are capable of, and now that you understand the value of focus and determination, and now that you are armed with your freshly printed certificate, I'm sure you don't have that as yet, you can step boldly into your respective futures. You are the product of your SALCC experience. You use the good, the bad, and the ugly from that experience to transform yourself into the proud, educated, and courageous persons sitting in this hall today. It is my sincere hope, and as a board, the Board of Management and staff, that as you embrace a bright and rewarding future, you will cherish the warm friendships you made at SALCC, as well as the efforts of the dedicated lecturers and staff who went beyond the call of duty to assist you. Having once been students, governors know all too well that no learning experience is perfect. To those of you who may have felt let down, felt that your expectations were not fully met, we wish to say simply and fervently that we are sorry. We pledge on behalf of the management and board and staff that we will continue to work as hard as we can to build a college that is fully fit for purpose and that guarantees every student a positive and memorable student experience. This has been the focus of all governors during the board first term, and this focus will continue into the second term, which started because we started a month ago. The board is excited to be starting this new term with a more settled, forward-looking, and purposeful human resource framework, anchored in a revised organizational structure that seeks to boost productivity, ensure accountability, and establish clear standards for enhanced teaching and learning at our college. The board hopes to have discussions with the union partners early next month with a view to securing their support for this new structure. Additionally, job descriptions have been rewritten to provide clarity regarding the roles and functions associated with all posts, as well as to allow objective assessment of the performance of faculty and staff. Staff training needs have been assessed and training has begun. Detailed administration processes have been written for each department. The first of several management audits have been completed for the Health and Wellness Department. I wish, on behalf of the board, to express sincere gratitude to Mr. Victor Poyot, who is here with us this evening, who went well beyond the remits of his consultancy and walked the college through a very critical and sensitive HR transformation process. The top leadership position of the college has been streamlined to give dedicated attention to strategic visioning and management, academic and administrative elements, respectively. In this regard, the board is pleased to have Dr. Marjorie Charles as our new president. Round of applause, please. Dr. Charles is no stranger to SLCC and returned to us with over 40 years of experience as a teacher, including 10 years as a university lecturer. The board is confident that Dr. Charles will give her individual attention to managing the affairs of the college, and the board has committed itself to giving her every available support as we craft policy that is needed and the financial support that is affordable. The board thanks Dr. Merle St. Clair Ogis and Dean Kurt Harris, who ably led the college during the 10 months preceding Dr. Charles's appointment. Other appointments to leadership positions made over the past year include Dr. Winston Fulgens as Vice Principal of Academics, Dr. Merle St. Clair as Vice Principal Administration, Mrs. Vanya Pilgrim Samuel as Human Resource Manager, and Mr. Wayne Benty as Student Experience Manager. The board is also focused on improving the technical support services and physical infrastructure of the college. Significant investments have been made to provide fast and stable internet and Wi-Fi access at the Mon campus. Incremental developments have been made to the physical plant. The Victor Archer building is back in use following renovations done under the Disaster Vulnerability Project funded by the Caribbean Development Bank. The CDB is also funding the expansion and renovation of the Viewfort campus, which is underway. However, every day, at least one building at the Mon campus gives us a strong reminder of their age and condition. The Grace Augustine building was the last to do so. Engineers estimate it will cost at least $5 million to repair it. Returning the Hunter Fatsoir Library to use has been a priority of the board from its inception. While the technical solution is clear, the cost of repair is high enough to warrant comparing the cost of repairing the building with the cost of building new structures. Amazingly, thanks to the resilient and committed leadership of the librarian, Mrs. Kathy Birch McDermott, and her team, the Hunter Fatsoir Library continues to provide high-quality service to students and faculty. A sizable book donation continued to be made to the library. More recently, from the government of Japan, for which the board is grateful, the Derek Walcott Library is now firmly established. The board has designated 2024 as the year of infrastructure for the college. Detailed cost estimations are being prepared for repairs to key buildings. The board also gave priority to the erection of a temporary facility to accommodate students in between classes. A student charter will be consulted on at the start of the new semester, which will set out the aspirations and expectations of students Additionally, more staff has been recruited to boost the execution of the college student sports program. The board wishes to thank Mr. Gilroy Hall, who has now retired, for his effortless dedication and commitment to sports and other programs at SALCC. The future of university education continues to be hotly debated regionally and globally. There is broad consensus that it provides the high-level skills that all countries need to drive their sustainable development. At the same time, across developed and developing countries alike, there has been a marked decline in university enrollment. The Strads Education Foundation found that confidence in the value of higher education is falling among eligible adults, mainly because the cost exceeds the perceived benefits, and pathways to learning are becoming more varied and less formalized. More companies are emphasizing demonstrated skills and competencies over university degrees and are recruiting talent from high schools. These trends are not lost on governors of the board, and the board ponders the transition of our college into a university. The vision will require buy-in from all major internal and external stakeholders of the college, especially from the government of St. Lucia. The SALCC does not exist in a vacuum. Its success is highly dependent on the quality of students produced at lower levels of the school system. Student enrollment remains a massive challenge. According to UNESCO, in 2018, 17% of primary school-age students did not attend school. We can only assume the situation was worsened by the COVID pandemic. These and other factors tell us that the conversion of SALCC into a university will have to be underpinned by a clear national education policy and strategy. Clearly, for this conversion to take place, government subvention to the college will have to be substantially increased to fund the training of faculty to PhD level and to allow the college to pursue and maintain the highest accreditation standards. In any new dispensation, a key principle that must be observed is that the SALCC cannot be all things to everyone. By this, I mean consensus will be needed on a manageable number of priority courses to produce citizens with the knowledge, skills, and competencies that our country needs and that they can afford. The board looks forward to engaging internal and external stakeholders on those issues. The board regards the establishment of a National Accreditation Council and the finalization of Draft Education Act as two critical inputs that will determine the future form and function of Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. The board is of one mind about the importance of the SALCC holding true to the status as a college of and for the community. In this regard, the board applauds the combined contributions of management, faculty, staff, and international sponsors which led to the graduation of thousands of small business owners, operators, and street vendors in various aspects of business management and financial literacy. These activities complement others, such as the college's successful defensive driving course offered by the southern campus of the SALCC. The board expresses its appreciation to the government of Taiwan, the World Bank, the OAS, the OECS, and other sponsors of these programs. The board has tasked the principal in designing more of those programs to ensure that SALCC makes full use of the assets to respond to the needs of St. Lucians in all walks of life. The feedback that the board has been receiving from business owners and managers is that stronger efforts must be made to ensure that SALCC graduates are ready for the world of work. The view is that a certificate is not enough and that graduates can benefit from having a stronger and earlier familiarization with workplace norms and procedures, such as punctuality, working as productive members of a team, workplace etiquette, and so on. The board has instructed the principal of the college to consider how best to address these gaps within the curriculum of the college. One opinion being considered by the board is the establishment of a hotel school. However, the board feels that a national apprenticeship program will be of significant help to all students who enter the workplace. I pause to say, before I read the conclusion of the chair, that as a lifelong educator, I would like to say to the students who are about to engage on the next journey, may I suggest that you do so with a passion, do so with excitement, positivity, and spirituality, remembering that you are here because of a greater being, our Creator. So give praise and thanks, ignite your passion. It is only then that you can release your positive energy to make effective use of the time where your creativity can be seen. You need to give praise and thanks to all those who embarked on this journey with you and saw you to the end. Remember, you have many to thank. However, you are your most precious commodity. So use it for the best of you. You are gifted with opportunities. Use it. The board deeply appreciates the critical support that it continues to receive from several partners and countries. Over the past year, the Department of Internalization and Partnership facilitated the signing of over a dozen MOUs with various regional and international partners to advance the college's programs in digital literacy, renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and faculty and student exchanges. The board is profoundly appreciative of the selfless contributions of the members of the Association of SALCC to the development of their college. Special mention must be made of the mathematics camp organized by Dr. Delia Samuel in August this year, with support from Good News in the USA.
The impact of these contributions cannot be overstated, as we have limited resources. The board cannot achieve its mandate without this support. The board is also grateful to faculty and staff who continue to go beyond the call of duty to help students achieve their full potential. Here, the board publicly salutes the achievement of Ethan Miles St. Rose and John Tristan Trench, who placed 3rd and 6th respectively in the 2023 Cape Literature in English Unit 2 exams. The board congratulates Ms. Gloria Severin for helping to produce this outstanding achievement. The board also congratulates students of the Viewfort Comprehensive who excelled in this and other Cape subjects. The board assures managers, faculty, and staff that it will continue to do all that it can to make the SALCC the best learning and teaching institution it can be. The board pledges to keep right the things that are right and to put right the things that are wrong. The agenda of consolidation and development of our college can only be achieved by always working together with the interests of our students and our country uppermost in our minds and hearts. And let me add that SALCC does not only excel academically. We have SALCC students all over the world excelling in the field of sports. The board wants to extend its best wishes for a happy, healthy retirement to our faculty members who retired this year. We trust that their retirement will give them fresh energy to recommit assisting SALCC in a manner and timing of their choosing. The board appreciates the hard work of all departments who put this planning and this graduation event together. Special thanks goes to our registrar, Mr. Ian Mainville, and his staff for leading many aspects of this effort. The board wants to offer its best wishes to all for a joyous Christmas, a healthy and renewing 2024 in the new years. I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anthony, for that comprehensive insight into the achievements and the status of things at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College on behalf of Mr. Springer. I particularly enjoyed the personal touch, Ms. Anthony, and that message to the graduates. Remember that you are your most precious commodity. Never forget that. At this point, I think it very important to note that we did receive expressions of regret from the following individuals who were unable to be present with us today. We received expressions of regret from His Excellency Sir Errol Charles, the Governor General of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance and Economic Development, also from the Honorable Sean Edward, Minister for Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, technology, and vocational training. We are certain that, of course, they would have loved being here, but we understand. At this point, I would like to call on Honorable Virginia Albert Poyot, Minister for the Public Service, Home Affairs, Labor, and Gender Affairs, who will deliver remarks on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister.
First of all, let me recognize and acknowledge the protocol that has been established, Madam Chair. And with this, I am here to bring greetings to this audience on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre. Moments like these mean a lot to our graduates, and therefore it is important that the government of St. Lucia registers its presence in this significant occasion. On behalf of the Prime Minister and Cabinet of Ministers of St. Lucia, I bring greetings to the graduates at this 37th graduation exercise. I congratulate you for a job well done. I want to congratulate the staff, principal and staff, and board of directors of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College for putting this exercise together to facilitate your exit from this noble institution. Graduation brings joy to many: the graduates, the parents, your lecturers, your friends, and well-wishers. And this is the purpose of this exercise today. When the Prime Minister asked me to represent him, he reminded me there is one significant point that I need to stress, and that is the commitment of this government to education. It's a commitment to education from the cradle to the grave, from early childhood to primary, secondary, technical and vocational, and tertiary education. At this point, we focus on tertiary education. And one of the promises that the St. Lucia Labour Party made before it was elected to government is that it shall actively pursue the policy that every St. Lucian household has at least one university graduate within a reasonable time. I know some of you will ask, what is reasonable? But we have set out to achieve that. And to date, we have awarded many scholarships to those we consider to be first generation. There are many households in St. Lucia where they have not had one siblings, one member of this household who may not have even attended the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Far less those who have moved on to university level. And some of you here may very well be the first generation in your family. As you graduate today, we want to assure you that the government of St. Lucia is putting things in place to support you. For many have graduated, and after they have been certified, they are not sure what the next step is. And I want to remind you that whereas the government has many challenges, many priorities, education remains at the top. Some of the critical areas that government has to address in the areas of health, infrastructure, tourism, agriculture, the economy, and employment. Especially in the world of technology, technology is critical. You have been part of a noble institution under the name of a Nobel laureate. And I don't know how many of you understand the significance of that. But I can remind you that 46 years ago, I walked through the walls of Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. It wasn't Sir Arthur yet, but it became Sir Arthur. And 30 years ago, I was among the first graduates who got a degree at Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. And I would expect that 30 years later, it would have been a university. Notwithstanding that, the government is committed to giving the support that is needed by the board of directors and the faculty of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College to continue to upgrade this institution. That institution will lay or has laid the foundation for those of you sitting here and many of those who are witnessing this exercise today. And sometimes I wonder why this institution is in a barracks. It's in a barracks because of the nature of the training. It is solid, it is strong, and it gives a foundation that is long-lasting. And I trust that you will benefit and use the knowledge and skills that you would have acquired at Sir Arthur to chart the way forward for you. Government has provided support through the youth economy, the community tourism, the 7 crops program in agriculture, the micro, small, and medium enterprises, so that you can access grants that will help you create your own employment and even employ others. So we are already preparing for some of you. Many times in your research, we like to quote others, but we do not quote ourselves. And I will give you one of my quotes where I quote myself. Sir William Arthur Lewis, one of his famous quotes was, "The fundamental cure for poverty is not money, but knowledge." And I hope you have understood what this means. Knowledge and education sometimes I use interchangeably. But my definition of education, I know you did not come today to write, but I will leave it with you. Education is what you choose to remember and use after you have forgotten everything else that you were taught or experienced. So you would have learned a lot of things at Sir Arthur. But at the end of the day, is what you choose to remember and apply to navigate and chart the course in life. That is what will be your education. I want to congratulate you. I want to wish you well. And the government of St. Lucia and Cabinet of Ministers and the Honorable Prime Minister will be there to give you the support as you move from one level to the next. Congratulations and best wishes to you.
Thank Thank you so much, Dr. Poyot, for your remarks, for your words of encouragement, those personalized words, the personalized message to the graduating class, and of course, for reiterating the commitment of the government of St. Lucia to ensuring that the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College continues to build on its mandate and continues to deliver quality education to the people of St. Lucia. Thanks again. Now, I wish to call on Mrs. Natalie Jolie Fannis, who is the head of the Communications and Marketing Unit at the college. And Mrs. Fannis's task is to introduce our esteemed guest speaker. Mrs. Fannis.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is not an understatement nor a cliche when I say that this is my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce our guest speaker for this 2023 graduation ceremony. Graduates, I implore you to soak in as much as you can from what this young, dynamic individual has to offer you today. I can't say I know the contents of his speech. This is the one time he did not share it with me. But for certain, I know he has not hidden his talents. He has honed them and developed them, and I am sure he has lessons to share. Graduating with first-class honors in political science and law from the Faculty of Social Sciences, Rahim Augustine Joseph has proven to be an exceptional scholar and visionary youth leader. He was the valedictorian for his graduating class of 2023 and also received many awards for his outstanding contribution to campus and country, namely the George Bell Plaque for Excellence in Political Science and also the C. Justin Robinson Prize. Rahim also graduated as valedictorian of his Sir Arthur Lewis Community College class in 2019. He made his mark while at the college with his exceptional oratory skills and as a student leader, serving as president of the Student Council, where he consistently represented and advocated for students. Rahim continues to be a valued alumnus of the college. While at the college, Rahim won Best Speaker awards at local and regional WIC debates, where he made his mark and had St. Lucia as the island to reckon with. During his undergraduate degree at the UWI-Caveville, Rahim continued to be an avid student leader, public speaker, debater, and mooter. Most recently, he led the UWI team at the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, International Mooting Competition in 2023, where he received the inaugural Sir Henry Ford Award for Best Oralist, which was provided to the oralist who showed exemplary advocacy skills during the competition. Rahim led the UWI team to a second-place victory, securing the title of Best Academic Institution at the CCJ competition, which showcased his prowess in team dynamics and strategic thinking. Adding to his accolades, Rahim's selection as one of 3 Caribbean nationals for the Garvey and Nkrumah Legal Fellowship underscores his commitment to addressing underrepresentation in the legal field. This global fellowship has taken him to Accra, Ghana, and afforded him a prestigious summer internship with the OECS Commission in St. Lucia. At the UWI-Caveville campus, Rahim served in multiple leadership capacities, including the Guild of Students' Council and the Vice Chancellor's Ambassador's Corps. His dedication to highlighting the contribution of young people was evident as the host of the UE TV program, Generation Next, NEXX. Rahim was frequently on the Dean's List while contributing significantly to political discourse through his guest columns in the Barbados Today and the St. Lucia Star. Rahim has transformed the knowledge he gained at UE into practical insights, from election watches to panel discussions on constitutional reform and democracy. He has exhibited a keen analytical mind, which caused him to be among one of the youngest to be part of an OAS electoral observer mission in Grenada in 2021 in order to observe and make recommendations on improving the electoral and democratic framework. Rahim is currently enrolled as a student pursuing his LLB at UE Caville. He aspires to be an attorney at law and is passionate about the intertwining and inseparable marriage of politics and law and its ability to transform the Caribbean civilization. And transform he will. Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, please help me warmly welcome our guest speaker for this 2023 graduation, Mr. Rahim Augustine Joseph.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Mrs. Fanis, for that elaborate introduction. Already establishing and adopting the protocol that was earlier established, it was not too long ago that I sat right where you were. Of course, in my days, commonly referred to as BC, before COVID, we are not as blessed to be at the Royalton to celebrate our auspicious and momentous occasion. It means that a lot has changed, and changed for the better, from when I left the 33rd graduation exercise of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. But equally, in my days, we had the distinct opportunity to celebrate under the tent, under what we called DTEMS, comforted only by the program paper as the sun scorched down, and the fancy fans that I see some of you have today were not, as we would say in our local palace, in style yet. And irrespective, however, of the location change, I know the sentiments of when is this going to be over still remains. But you'd indulge me for a few moments as I share some thoughts with you this afternoon at your occasion, and trust me that I will not utilize the change in location as a passport for being overly long. Forgive me, however, again, to take some time to say from the onset how honored and thankful I am to have been asked to be your guest speaker at this graduation exercise. And to say to the Board of Directors or the Board of Governors that I'm interested in completing the journey. I attended the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. I debated vigorously for the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. I was a judge, the valedictorian of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. I have hosted the ceremony together with, imagine I could now say my colleague, Mistress George, before. And the only lacuna in my CV is teaching at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. And therefore, Madam Principal, I will fill out the vacancy on the website. And more importantly, HR and the accounts department, I will be looking for back pay. Graduating class of 2023. In a previous iteration, a certain Rahim Augustine Joseph, speaking at a graduation class, reflected on what in hindsight may have been mundane challenges. I celebrated our resilience walking up to OTW at 8 a.m. I agonized over the technical difficulties of soreness. I even spoke about the scorching sun that my colleagues in surveying and mapping or civil engineering had to deal with. And more importantly, I spoke about these model lesson plans that the teachers within the department had to be able to create for their assessments. I had no doubt that the challenges still remain, but more importantly, that I would be speaking to a group of young people that had these challenges and even more astronomical ones. These challenges have transformed the way that you live. They've transformed the way that you were educated. So when I stand here and say congratulations, I truly, truly mean congratulations. You have made it through the long-lasting effects of the pandemic, which thrusted you into the digital revolution. You've made it through the mental health stresses associated with the pandemic. You've dealt with the socioeconomic hardships associated with the pandemic. And more importantly, and even unfortunately for some of you, you've also dealt with the fall of loved ones who you'd have loved to be here celebrating this moment with you. But you did it faithful to the old adage of going from hardship to hardship without losing enthusiasm. So when I stand here and say congratulations, I truly, truly mean congratulations. Today is the culmination of your hard work. It is the culmination of your grit, of your temerity, of your dexterity, and it's an opportunity for you to bask in the glory of your success. Today is an opportunity for you to look inwards and be proud that you've reached the end of this particular road when so many times during this journey you felt that you could not make it. Reflect for a moment on these times and look at yourselves now and be proud of your results and your resolve. Through the sleepless nights, through the agony of completing the final examinations, you have made it. And today, this time has come, the time that Sir Derek Walcott spoke about in that great poem, Love After Love, when he wrote about the unbridled gratification and contentment that one receives after a period of hardship. And his words are instructive, and he said that this time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome, seat, feast on your life. Today is a day of feast. And do not see this moment merely as collecting a trophy to pack somewhere on a shelf, to be tossed somewhere, but see it as a reminder and an embodiment of your academic prowess. Allow it to remind you of what you can achieve when you are committed and when you are hardworking. And I've said it before, and you'd forgive me for repetition today, that you must be mindful of those who seek to reduce and relegate this academic achievement to the doldrums of history, to pass it off as a small feat, and of course to say in our local palace, Sapaye. You know the sacrifices that you had to make for this academic achievement. You know the value of your certificate. You know that permeating through this sheet of paper is the embodiment of your hard work, your dedication, your determination, and it is an amalgamation of your completed knowledge, experiences, lessons, and of course, it is the great liberator for your communities and for your families. These heights that you have reached and kept today, according to Longfellow, were not attained by sudden flight, but while your companions slept at night, you were up toiling. You know the knowledge that you have acquired here. So as you leave these hallowed halls or the hallowed ballroom of the Royalton Resort, and you reflect on the past and also today, I implore you to not see it only as the culmination of a journey, but the beginning of a new dawn. As you commence your new employment, as you search for employment, as you search for your next educational institution, or rather, as you search for the answers to this thing called life, never, ever forget the dream. The dream job, the dream career, the dream. And too often after we leave these hallowed halls, we become complacent, steeped in a culture of stagnation, fascinated by the immediate self-gratification, fascinated with the meager, though important, salary at the end of the month, the new job that we just received, and soon enough we forget that we once had a dream. A dream that transcended the certificate that you will get today, utilizing that certificate not as an endpoint, but as part of this journey. And I get it. Sometimes our socioeconomic circumstances, our imposter syndrome, our own anecdotal idea of our friends going off to school and us being left on this little rock makes us forget that dream. And sometimes life seems daunting. And you may ask yourself, what am I to do next? I know the question of finances. I know what it is to have the wherewithal to determine that next particular step in your life. I know the feeling of being nervous about that particular dream. I know the feeling. And this inner colonial relic that has creeped into our minds within the Caribbean, that believe that people within our particular part of the rock, our dreams will remain that we call a fleeting illusion to be pursued and never to be attained, if I am to borrow from a great man. But I say to you, look around your country. Look around your region and be comforted that the individuals who have sat in these chairs before you had the same fears. They had the same trepidations about that great journey that they would embark on. But there is a deep intellectualism that runs through the DNA of that nationality solution that you are part of, that you must be able to tap into to guide you through the next step of that journey. You need not look further for great inspiration than the individual that your school or our beloved school is named after. Sir Arthur Lewis defied the colonial idea. He defied the colonial myth that said that people of the particular Caribbean region could not achieve great things. The first UK black professor, the first black professor at the London School of Economics, and even through his own economic theories, challenged, or rather it was revolutionary, because at the very base of these theories, he said that these colonial backwater countries could have achieved more than being a mere production of raw materials. You are living in the legacy of rejecting colonial myths. But I say to you as well, be patient. Never give up on the dream, but equally, while patience is important, you must plan for the actualization of that dream. Most of it happens in the mind. And don't be afraid of this dream repackaging itself and taking you through roundabouts and curves to get to that point, as life is not a straight road. And be aware that nothing happens before its particular time. Be aware that that dream may change and that you must give yourself the grace to get to the next step, as there is no scroll in life which tells you that you must do this or do that at any particular point in time. Be aware as well that dreams by themselves are not enough, and that while you dare to dream, you must be determined to deliver. This does not mean, as we should also heed the words of development economist Dr. Adrian Royalton, who's speaking before a ceremony like mine before today, said that we must be wary of this idea called faith. Because faith, apologies, comes to those that are complacent, but I see the ambition in your eyes. And Rudyard Kipling puts it well when he said that if you can dream and make dreams not your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your master, and if you can meet triumph and disaster with the same view, then everything in this earth will be yours. Friends, colleagues, graduating class of 2023, as you go into this world, be cognizant that your success will be hinged upon the application of your knowledge, but also on your uniqueness, also on your ability to find your niche in which you can exploit. Because the world is not characterized by unanimity and singularity of distinction, but by how many of you can carve out that special space where you can dominate and exploit. Ask yourselves, what do I bring to the table that is different, that is novel? Your future, my future, is one that is characterized by the technological thrust. That same technology fortuitously creates jobs but also makes some obsolete. That technology has facilitated the democratization of the world, but also undoubtedly has created the phenomenon of disinformation. Your future, my future, is characterized by the climate crisis, increasing gender inequality, increasing intergenerational poverty. And I outline these particular issues for you not to create a daunting reality of the world, but to tell you that the generational task that we have is phenomenal. And to quote Manley, it cannot be won by doubtful men and women. I ask you at this inflection point of your life to find a particular place that you fit within these solutions. How can I adapt is what you ask yourself. How can I continue to be resilient after all the pandemic has taught me? And don't be daunted, because this community college has prepared you sufficiently for the future. To be a world, or to be part of a world that is confident, because you are better than no one in the world, but no one is better than you. And you can compete against anyone, anywhere in the world, once you continue to master and harness the art of hard work, determination, resilience, and grit. Today, you leave here with your associate degrees. And I implore you to know that this country depends on your knowledge, on your skills, on your new, innovative, fresh ideas. It depends on you to make a defining difference. And you must be audacious in your pursuit of excellence. This academic achievement, colleagues, friends, will only be measured by your ability to use it to impart and impact your families and your communities. And you must utilize it as the foundation upon which you can build St. Lucia and build this Caribbean civilization. Graduating class, in conclusion, I want to say to your parents who've come here in their large numbers, thank you. Thank you for continuing to support our young people and guiding them throughout this particular journey. But I also want to remind them that this journey is a marathon and not a sprint. And it's important to continue to guide them. It's important to be able to guide them through the rigors of life, and even within these very dry periods. And these periods of wilderness where it is that they wonder and they have their own agonizing moments about what is next within my life. So as much as you want to be able to get them out of the house, as I know some of you do, be very careful that before they can retire you, there will be a period of wilderness. Support them and guide them as part of this process. Graduates, friends, this academic achievement is important. But it'll only be important and effective if you buttress it with the right attitude. Your academics will not replace honesty. It will not replace hard work. It will not replace fortitude. It will not replace deportment. But remember that this Sir Arthur Lewis Community College has prepared you to be confident, to be brave, to go forth in the world, cognizant that you stand on a legacy of deep St. Lucian intellectualism. I wish you the best. This community college supports you, and never, ever, ever forget the dream. God bless you.
And what you have witnessed this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is why Mr. Augustine Joseph has won so many awards as Best Speaker. He has certainly not disappointed us this afternoon. And I am certain that, like me, you are in awe of this young man, and you expect that he is one who will undoubtedly, in the not-too-distant future, leave his mark, whether politically or otherwise. He will leave his mark on the tapestry that is St. Lucia. Now, I would like to call on Ms. Jada Amab of the Social Sciences and the Knowledge Society Unit. And Ms. Amab will make a presentation to Mr. Joseph, small token, but nonetheless one that expresses our gratitude small can, I mean, yes, you get what I'm saying, yes. But it is an expression of our gratitude, Rahim, for not only today, but I noted earlier that you spoke of back pay. So perhaps that is one step of our journey on, fulfilling that obligation. Thank you so much, Mr. Augustine Joseph. And of course, thank you, Ms. Amab. While we at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College are primarily focused on our mandate as an academic institution, we also encourage and nurture the talents of our students. Therefore, I invite Ms. Yasha Lewis to the podium. Ms. Lewis is a student of the Health, Wellness, and Human Performance Unit. Let's give her a round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Graduates, even parents, I'm here to encourage you today that you've come this far without giving up, so just keep going.
That I would have to climb, and there will be battles that I would have to fight, but victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. And how can I expect to win if if I never try. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I've started from. And nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Never said there would be trials, never said I wouldn't fall, never said that everything would go the way I'd want it to go. But when my back is against the wall and I feel all hope is gone, I just lift my head up to the sky and say, help me to be strong. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I've started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. No, you didn't bring me out here to leave me lonely, even when I can't see clearly. I know that you are with me, so I can't give up now. No, no, I can't give up. I've come too far from where I've started from. And nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I've started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Come on, if you know it, sing. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I've started from. And nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I've started from. And no one said it would be easy. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. No, I don't believe he's brought you this far to leave you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Lewis. I think we can muster up another round of applause. And now we get to the interesting part. Graduates, family members, and loved ones, this is where we will recognize the graduating class for their personal and collective achievements as they take the walk of pride. To this end, I will now hand over this segment of today's proceedings to the Registrar of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Mr. Ian Minville.
Thank you, Dr. Depredin. I wish to adopt the protocol that was established. A pleasant good afternoon to all. A total of 408 students successfully completed a range of certificates, diplomas, associate degrees, and bachelor's degrees. We will begin our presentation of certificates and awards to the graduates of the Social Sciences and the Knowledge Society unit. To make the presentation, I call on Vice Principal of Academics, Dr. Winston Fulgent.
Hi, good afternoon. It is upon me to take the oath, and that oath reads as follows. I, Winston Fulgent, Vice Principal for Academics, certify that the graduates have successfully completed the prescribed course of study, passed all examinations, met all program requirements, and are therefore eligible for the award of bachelor's degrees, associate degrees, diplomas, advanced certificates, and certificates.
Would the graduates of that unit please come forward? We begin with the program Associate Degree in Economic Trade and Finance. Junessa Snack. Joshua Charles. Taj Eli Box. Akeem George. Annalyn Harry. Jelani Justin. Kiana Justin. Yannick Nicholas. We move to the Associate Degree in Environmental Studies and Climate Change. Graduates, please come forward. Lindy Joseph. Eustace St. Martin. We move on to the Associate Degree in Sociological Thought and Change. Graduates, please come forward. Jada Amab. Elainey Joyeux. Elainey receives the highest overall achievement from the Social Sciences and the Knowledge Society unit and the Program Award for Sociological Thought and Change. Ayana Justin. Kenisha Mathre. Ken Smith. Joel St. Rose. We move on to the professional and lifelong learning and South Campus unit. Would the graduates please come forward? For the associate degree in administrative office management, Melania Cotter. For the associate degree in sustainable business and innovation, Carissa Jamari. For the associate degree in business administration, Darwin Desouze. For Luvina St. Bryce Simon. For the associate degree in office administration, Francine Cox. Tedisha Evans. For the certificate in business studies, Kimani Francis. Kedalia Marshall. For the certificate in social work, Sabina Alfred. Sabina Alfred receives the highest overall achievement award from the Professional and Lifelong Learning and South Campus unit and the Program Award for the certificate in social work. We move on to the Business Innovation and Sustainable Entrepreneurship Unit. We begin with the Bachelor's of Arts in Business Administration, KD Delpesh. Katie Delpesh receives the Program Award for the Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration. Lila Sylvester. Princess Wilson. For the associate degree in administrative office management, Leah Alexander. Harriet Bernard. Trava Chico. Aliyah Cox. Natalie Dennis. Terrence Daisy. Terrika Dubois. Crescentia Ellick. Kinaya Evans. Kenesia Flora. Kenesia Flora received the Program Award for Administrative Office Management. Delana Flotton. Ashley Jalim. Kushel Gangudin. Reese Joseph. Martina Monrose. Kidera Popo. Josette Sonson. For the associate degree in office administration, Alina Bernard. For the associate degree in digital business and economy, Jalen Adrian. Jemrick Alexander. Jaim Fletcher. Kenna Foster. Jaden Francis. Jaden Francis receives the Program Award for Digital Business and Economy. Zoya Francois. Kyle Mathre. Tariq Scott. For the associate degree in sustainable business and innovation, Dijan Akti. Leon Alexander. Antoinette Anthony. Tia Augustine. Carla Chico. Lillian Davidson. Chrysler Dennis. Sergey Dupal. Kifel Fontenelle. Latoya Francois. Janine Frederick. Danielle Ishmael. Trista James. Kayvon James. Gabriella Joseph. Came to me yesterday. Well, that's you. Yeah. Clecia Joseph. Rinkage King. Pitania Joseph. Cheyenne King. Brittany Lochter. Valin Louis. Kenson Nelson. Myra Prosper. Randall Phillip. Janiah Rosamond. Deborah Sandy. Amelia Sewak. Ivana Todman. For the associate degree in business administration, Renee Emmanuel. Christy Henry. Sindel Philogen. We now move on to the engineering and the circular economy unit. For the associate degree in architectural technology, Jaden Augustine. Leah David. Wesley De Riviere. Brittany Edwin. Merkim Elfridge. Kiana Henry. Donald Pierre. Jacia Sexius. For the Associate Degree in Computer and Information Technology, Christy Alexander. Lauren Bernard. Chauville Charles. Sachin Sipal. Omari Joseph. Twinkle Sensi. For the Associate Degree in Construction Engineering, Jade Antoine. Naya Lynch. Azan Nicholas. Chelsea Regis. Ayana Samuel. Ayana Samuel receives the award for the Associate Degree in Construction Engineering. For the Associate Degree in Computer System Engineering, Shaquan James. Kenella Kojra. Jose Metcalf. For the Associate Degree in Mechanical Engineering, Joel Chandler. Zabias Combi. Jelani Matthew. Kinai Dove. Renee Smith. Renee Smith receives the award for the associate degree in mechanical engineering. For the associate degree in quantity surveying, Gregory Alphonse. Anthony John. Anthony John receives the award for the associate degree in quantity surveying. For the certificate in electrical installation, Verlan Lewis. Verlan Lewis receives the award for the certificate in electrical installation. For the certificate in motor vehicle mechanics, Kimani Bousquet. Nayam Alphonse. We move on to the Sustainable Tourism and Hospitality Unit. For the Bachelors of Arts in Tourism and Hospitality Management, Adija Labadi. Krista William. Krista William receives the award for the Bachelors of Arts in Tourism and Hospitality Management. For the Associate Degree in Accommodations and Hospitality, Katrina Joseph. Katrina Joseph receives the award for the Accommodations and Hospitality Associate Degree. For the Associate Degree in Culinary Arts, Yola Girau. Saya Sydney. Saya Sydney receives the award for the Associate Degree in Culinary Arts. For the Associate Degree in Food and Beverage Operations, Thaddeus Solomon. For the Associate Degree in Hospitality Studies, Chelsea Pelage. For the Associate Degree in Tourism Studies and Sustainability, Bianca Charles. Omar Erme. Dylan LeBlanc. Kaylee Satney. Brianna Pierre-Louis. For the associate degree in travel and tourism, Chad Alfred. We move to the Agribusiness Entrepreneurship and Climate Smart Agriculture Unit. For the associate degree in Agribusiness Entrepreneurship, Jean-Marie Clerville. Lakiba Alexander. Lakiba Alexander received the Helen's Daughters Woman in Agriculture Award. Ivan Dosite. Tyrell Duplessis. Tyrell Duplessis receives the Program Award for Agribusiness and Entrepreneurship. Tanisha Frederick. Miguel Edwin. Sterana Jean-Baptiste. Diquan Jean-François. Keon John. Chavez Soufren. For the associate degree in general agriculture, McNell Joseph. We now move to the Health, Wellness, and Human Performance Unit. For the associate degree in Human Performance and Nutrition, Venetia Fontenelle. Michael Lynch. We now move on to the pre-college unit. For the certificate in the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, Dana Alfred. Shikera Shalmine. Shante Sherabin. Janai Daisy. Rosha Delmore. Jaden Deterville. Liam DeVoe. Shay J. Charles. Jada Henry. Altus Leo. Linez Lerish. Shadonna Lewis. Janae Mangal. Shantae Mason. Tusha Newton. Dowanica Nicholas. Azende Popo. Azende Popo receives the award for academic excellence. Crystal Ramkilawan. Crystal Ramkilawan receives the award for physics. Darcy Wilson. We move to the Digital Humanities, New Media and Creative Industries Unit. For the associate degree in for the associate degree in for the associate degree in animation and design, Terrence Albert. Egbert Crafton. Marie Elliott. Joshua Joseph. George Mathre. Joshua Hines. For the associate degree in creative and performing arts, Darlene Francis. For the associate degree in media and digital communications, Zenaya Anius. Miriam Montoot. Kishon Sexius. We move to the Science, Technology, Innovation, and Sustainability Unit. For the associate degree in biology, Elizabeth Augustine. Nazia Bika. Linel Dupal. Nathan Emmanuel. Marissa Joseph. Carline Jean-Baptiste. Jody Labadie. Gianni Popo. Dania Raoul. Minella Sibaram. For the associate degree in biology with a certificate in pathways to medicine, Rafael Mohara. Xenia Charles. Xenia Charles received the highest overall achievement from the Science, Technology, Innovation, and Sustainability Unit, and the award for biology. For the associate degree in chemistry, Kyle Baptiste. Kithania Edward. Sion Joseph. Benelli Sensi. Shanice Wilson. For the Associate Degree in Environmental Science and Sustainable Development, Omika Charles. Erin George. Chrissa Henry. For the Associate Degree in Physics, Gillan Alfred. Gillan Alfred receives the award for physics. Okay, we move to the Teacher Education and Educational Leadership Unit. For the Bachelors of Education in Primary Education, Rena Antoine. Nicole Athanase. Jamie Aurelis. Shadita Glasgow. Shadita Glasgow receives the Subject Award for Research Project. Tamara James. Keishi Lovens. Kashina Montut. Najla Precious Clement. Della Sudat. Lisa Vene Edward. Lisa Vene Edward receives the highest overall achievement award from the Teacher Education and Educational Leadership Unit and the award for outstanding performance. Sancha Volney. Juliana Williams. Juliana Williams received the award for practical teaching. For the postgraduate diploma in secondary education, Caitlin Alsey. Makathian Alexander. Natasha Charles Clovis. Jarvis James. Yana James. Yana James received the Subject Award for Research Project. Rufus Martelli. Thank you, Vice Principal. Thank you, graduates. Let us now recognize graduates who received awards but who were unable to be present at today's ceremony. For the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College Award of Excellence, Shanice Gajada. Highest overall achievement from the pre-college unit, Sharice Gajada. Sharice Gajada also received subject awards for biology, Caribbean studies, chemistry, communication studies, and pure mathematics. For the associate degree in economics, trade, and finance, Estelle Alberti. From the Professional and Lifelong Learning and South Campus Unit, the award for the Associate Degree in Administrative Office Management, Shalene Simon. The award for Business Administration, Marisa Paul. The award for the Associate Degree in Criminal Justice, Cassandra Joseph. The award for Paralegal Studies, Marva Joseph. From the Business Innovation and Sustainable Entrepreneurship Unit, the award for the Associate Degree in Sustainable Business and Innovation, Shaquane Prudent. From the Engineering and the Circular Economy Unit, the award for the Associate Degree in Electronics Engineering, Simeon Donnellier. Simeon Donnellier also received the highest overall achievement award from the Engineering and the Circular Economy Unit. For the Associate Degree in Architectural Technology, Leela Marthere. For the Associate Degree in Computer and Information Technology, Annalise Welcome. For the Associate Degree in Computer Systems Engineering, Phoebe Thomas. For the Associate Degree in Motor Vehicle Mechanics, Bernard Jacques. From the Pre-College Unit, the award for Applied Mathematics, Dana Alfred. The award for French, Megan Scott. The award for Law, Jean-Luc Constantine. The award for Literatures in English, Ethan St. Rose. The award for Sociology, Shantae Mason. The award for Spanish, Astrid Auguste. From the Digital Humanities, New Media and Creative Industries, for the highest overall achievement award goes to Albert Bermudez Miranda. The award for the Associate Degree in Media and Digital Communications goes to Albert Bermudez Miranda. The Richard Anthony Wayne Whitfield Memorial Award for Excellence in Media and Digital Communication goes to Albert Miranda. The award for Animation and Design goes to Denise George. The award for Creative and Performing Arts goes to Tia Ishmael. From the Science, Technology, Innovation and Sustainability Unit, the award for Biology goes to Roxanne Jolie. The award for Chemistry goes to Jaden Lebrun. The award for Environmental Science and Sustainable Development goes to Gabrielle Menal. From the Teacher Education and Educational Leadership Unit, the award for Most Outstanding Performance goes to Janeme Henry, Craig Emmanuel, and Rahi Marat. The award for Practical Teaching goes to Leroy Joseph and Craig Emmanuel. The award for Research Project goes to Greg Joseph. The award for English goes to Janeme Henry and Millicent Kaufman. The award for Arts and Craft goes to Leroy Joseph. The award for Modern Languages goes to Anya Julian and Latoya Phillip. The award for Business goes to Tessa Charles and Rahi Marat. The award for Science goes to Greg Joseph and Alger Remy. The award for Mathematics goes to Shaquan Edward. The award for Teaching of History, Geography, and Social Studies goes to Craig Emmanuel. And the award for English Language goes to Millicent Kaufman. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the graduates, class of 2023.
Keep that applause going. You did it with style, you did it with distinction. A sincere congratulations to all of you and to your parents, to your guardians, and to your well-wishers and other loved ones. The celebration is also, or the achievement is also theirs. Now, we would like to again call on Miss Yasha Lewis, and of course, Miss Lewis will dazzle us with her voice.
Good afternoon once again. Standing at a crossroads of faith and deepest fear, so afraid of failing if you move on from here. The road ahead is steep, but you're not giving up, 'cause God's about to take you to a brand new place of trust. Take a step of faith, it's time to move. Lay aside your fears and watch what God can do. There's victory ahead, that mountain's not too high. Friend, hold on, 'cause you're about to climb. Higher heights await you beyond what you have dreamed, and they're yours for the taking if you dare to believe. So leave your doubts behind and let God make you brave. He has gone before you and He's already made the way. Take a step of faith, it's time to move. Lay aside your fears and watch what God will do. There's victory ahead, that mountain's not too high. Friend, hold on, 'cause you're about to climb. You may feel you can't go on, it just seems so hard, but put your hand in His, He will take you to the stars. Take a step
Miss Lewis. Wow. Yeah. We now invite Miss Elainey Joyeux to deliver the valedictory address. Miss Joyeux, Miss Joyeux is a graduate of the Social Sciences and the Knowledge Society unit. Welcome, Ms. Joyeux.
Honorable Virginia Albert Poyet, Minister for the Public Service, Home Affairs, Labor and Gender Affairs, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Ms. Fortuna Anthony, Deputy Chair of the Board of Governors of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, officials of the Ministry of Education, members of the Board of Governors of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Dr. Marjorie Jameson Charles, Principal of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, managers, academic heads, faculty, and staff of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, specially invited guests, parents, guardians, significant others, and loved ones of the graduates, and the viewing public, I bid you a good afternoon. It is a joy to assemble here today to commemorate the hard work, commitment, and resilience that every single one of us has shown over these past 2 years as we look ahead to what the future holds. It is my utmost honor to be standing here today as your valedictorian. To quote Alan Watts, an English writer and self-titled philosophical entertainer, the only way to make sense of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. I believe that these words capture the essence of what I and my peers had to implement these last few years and what we should take with us as we proceed ahead. I remember the day that I received my acceptance to the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, and I thought to myself, wow, starting a whole new school online, this is going to be interesting. And quite interesting it was. For some of us, we had to navigate our last years at secondary school during a global pandemic, so it did not come as a surprise that we would have to do the same as we journeyed into a virtual Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. For others, it was a transition from being a part of the working world of formal educational and productive pursuits to a virtual school environment. I was fearful but intrigued by what this journey into a new virtual school would be like, and I'm certain that my fellow graduates shared similar sentiments. We had never set foot into the college, and our only access had been through a screen. Do you remember that first week of our classes where we participated in icebreakers for every course? We were asked to describe ourselves and our interests in just a few sentences. Our first introduction to our classmates and lecturers would be a small icon with our initials and the sound of our voices as we turned our mics on to introduce ourselves. I dreaded every time I had to put my mic on just to introduce myself, despite no one being able to see me. And I know many of my peers can relate. While the world of online school was not new to us, there was some adjustment to the virtual college experience. Unlike secondary school, classes were spread throughout the week, and the most classes you may have a day would be 2. I know many of us took advantage of this. I know many of us took advantage of this by taking long naps between classes and waking up just in time for the next one. I know some of us were in class in that one room in the house we would not dare to admit. The bathroom. Our lecturers also had to rapidly adjust their teaching styles, learning how to operate a virtual classroom, trying their best to engage students, and ensuring that their Moodle pages were up to par. We must commend them for all their efforts. In addition, we must applaud ourselves for undoubtedly pushing through our first year online, meeting all those 11:59 p.m. deadlines, the multiple takes of our COM 116 speeches, and our anxiety-inducing oral examinations. As we got closer and closer to our first semester of the second year, the question on everyone's mind was, will we finally attend physical class? Our question was answered when it was officially announced that we will finally have face-to-face classes, but it would be in a hybrid format. What we did not expect is that this format would come with a multitude of complications. The hybrid format was implemented so that we would have classes in person and online, catering to all students. However, it posed an issue when the school's internet was unstable and we had to attend classes online while still physically being at school. There were plenty of classes that we missed online because we could not connect to the internet. Lecturers and students had to collaborate and find ways to adjust to the hybrid format that would benefit all parties. As you can imagine, this was a complicated task. In addition to that, some classes were spread so far apart during the day that we would have to wait on campus up to 4 hours for our next class. In those hours between classes, that's when most of our socializing happened. Even when there was nothing to do, someone would always say, let's make something happen. Let's make something happen. We found activities with which to occupy ourselves, like having silly conversation that most of the time turned into debates, or asking our friends to walk to the food vans with us. In some instances, we would just sit near the OTW building parking lot, observing our surroundings. Would you believe that there were 2 instances where we saw a car drive onto the protruding closed well? Those moments were where we connected with the community around us. Many lifelong friendships were formed, silly and profound conversations had, and a greater sense of community emerged. We as a class were making up for those crucial years of socializing and activities that we were robbed of. Those challenges and experiences we underwent encouraged us to be adaptive individuals. We learned how to deal with sudden changes and unexpected challenges. We took those challenges and saw them as ways to grow ourselves as individuals, students, and future leaders. We became technologically savvy. We created spaces to nurture one another virtually and face-to-face. Our ability to balance the educational, social, and economic aspects of school was tried, but we emerged stronger than ever. Every single one of us pushed through and rose above all trials to get here today. In the words of the infamous civil rights activist and political philosopher Martin Luther King Jr., our very survival depends on our ability to stay awake, to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant, and to face the challenge of change. The graduates of the class of 2023 can candidly say that they can adapt in the face of adversity. Imagine a society run by individuals who, as students, learn to be adaptable and had the willingness to do so. Possessing the ability and inclination to adapt can exceedingly bring about extensive positive change in our personal lives and our nation. Take a moment and think of what a future led by us, the class of 2023, looks like to you. For me, it looks like a world with increased innovations and out-of-the-box thinking, preparedness for obstacles ahead, versatility, being more open-minded and empathetic. While this hybrid format poses its challenges, it has taught us balance and a new approach to life. This makes us such a unique set of students ready to make our mark on whatever path we may take. We can take inspiration from our distinguished laureate, Sir William Arthur Lewis, whose ability to adapt his thinking and perspective allowed him to create great innovations in the field of economics that have immensely improved the economy of countries like Singapore. All of us here today, graduates, lecturers, dignitaries, and guests, can take all these obstacles and changes we've experienced over the past 2 years and become the most innovative and creative individuals we can be. We must not forget those who were standing by our sides and guiding us along the way. Firstly, we must thank the Almighty Father for guiding us along our academic journey, protecting us, and allowing us to be here today to celebrate our achievements. Thank you to the parents, guardians, significant others, and loved ones who encouraged us, supported us, and made many sacrifices to get us to this point. I would like to thank all the lecturers who contributed to our education and instilled in us the knowledge and skills we will continue to use. They worked tirelessly to give us the best education they could offer. Finally, thank you to the administration, principal, vice principals, faculty, and staff of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. They ensured that we had an educational experience like no other and assisted us in any way that they could. We are truly grateful for all that you do. As we move forward, we take those skills we acquired from our experience at this institution and become unstoppable individuals, ready to better the society. I could not be prouder of all the graduates here today, and I am honored to be a part of such an outstanding class as you step onto the path ahead. Be confident, be bold. Let your presence be known and say, hey, hey, move on my way. We are here to make our mark. Go on and be the innovative, resilient, adaptive, and open-minded individuals that you are. And remember, embrace change, plunge into it, move with it, and join its dance. I thank you.
Ms. Joyeux, thanks a lot for giving us some insight into your experiences and, of course, for speaking on behalf of the graduating class. We invite Ms. Miriam Montoute, a graduate of the Digital Humanities, New Media, and the Creative Industries Unit, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Protocol having been established, I stand before you today with immense gratitude and a heart full of emotions as we gather here to celebrate the momentous occasion of the class of 2023's graduation. It is an honor to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of the graduating class and express our deepest appreciation to everyone who has contributed to making this day truly special. Honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, Minister for the Public Service, Home Affairs, Labor, and Gender Affairs, we thank you for gracing us with your presence here today and for sharing such words of wisdom and inspiring words as well with us on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister. May they serve well as we go on our various endeavors. A special acknowledgement goes to the esteemed members of the Board of Governors of the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, whose unwavering commitment to education has laid the foundation for our success. Your dedication to creating a nurturing environment for learning has played a pivotal role in shaping the minds of the graduating class. We are grateful for your guidance and vision. We would like to express our sincere gratitude also to our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Raheem Augustine Joseph. Your words of wisdom have not only inspired us, but has also left an indelible mark on our hearts. Your insights have ignited a flame within us, motivating us to pursue our dreams with purpose and passion. We are truly privileged to have had the opportunity to learn from your experiences and wisdom. Our sincere appreciation goes to our school's principal, Dr. Marjorie Jameson Charles, Vice Principal, Dr. Milton Claire Auguste, and Dr. Winston Fullergence, Vice Principal, Academics, for their exceptional leadership. Your tireless efforts in fostering an atmosphere of excellence and providing us with the tools for success have been instrumental in our academic journey. Your passion for education has made a lasting impact on us all. A heartfelt thank you to the Office of the Vice Principal and the SALCC Graduation Planning Committee, whose meticulous planning and attention to detail have turned this event into a seamless and memorable experience. Your dedication has ensured that this day is etched into our memories as a culmination of our hard work and achievements. And speaking of meticulous planning, we extend our gratitude to the Office of the Registrar for its significant role in making today's ceremony a reality, and for their behind-the-scenes work, ensuring that our academic records are accurate and our progress was tracked seamlessly. Your commitment to administrative aspects of our education has not gone unnoticed, and we appreciate your efforts in ensuring smooth functioning of our academic journey. To our lecturers, who ensured that everyone was on track and that no one was left behind, an immense thank you to you all. Of course, these 37th graduation exercises would not have been possible without the continued support of corporate entities and members of the wider St. Lucian community. The subject, program, and individual awards presented here today are evidence of your benevolence, and we are grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, a special round of applause, please, for the sometimes unsung heroes, the members of our housekeeping department and groundsmen. Your hard work often and sometimes go unnoticed, but it is your dedication that ensured our learning environment was clean, comfortable, and conducive to academic success. Thank you for your tireless efforts in maintaining the school's premises and for your contribution to today's proceedings. We also express our profound gratitude to our valedictorian, Miss Elainey Joyeux. Your eloquent words have encapsulated the essence of our collective journey, and your achievements have set a standard for excellence that we aspire to reach. Thank you for representing our class with grace and intellect. We would also like to thank the government of St. Lucia through the team over at GIS and NTN for facilitating the live stream of today's proceedings, available to those who could not be here today but still wanted to witness our special moment. A heartfelt thank you also goes out to the various enterprises and institutions which collaborated with the college to facilitate our internships and practicums. To other specially invited guests, supporters, and well-wishers, we thank you for your continued support during our tenure at SALCC. A special thanks to our parents, guardians, significant others, and other family members who were here with us every step of the way. We remain eternally grateful to you for your unwavering support and patience. Fellow graduates, as we stand on the precipice of a new chapter in our lives, let us carry the lessons learned and the memories created at this institution with us. Thank you for everyone who has played a pivotal role, big or small, in our academic journey. Your contributions have shaped us into the individuals we are today, and we are forever grateful. Congratulations, class of 2023. May your futures be as bright as the memories we carry here from our time. Thank you.
Ms. Montoute, thank you so much for that comprehensive thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this means that we have come to the end of today's proceedings. That said, I invite everyone to stand. For the Sir Arthur Lewis, for the singing of the Sir Arthur Lewis College Anthem, which will be ably led by, by Bonelli Sincere.
Aim high, my fellow men, you of SLCC. Let's build a name that's always last and always honored be. Let's make a pledge to ever keep in sacred reverence our motto, constant and upright pursuit of excellence. March on, my fellow men, let nothing you detain. Follow the path our graduates trod, from tardiness refrain. Turn not from diligence and truth, gain knowledge, eloquence. Remember that our motto is pursuit of excellence. Sing out, my fellow men, with sweetness fill the air. SALCC, your Montfort tune, let all hearts revere. our motto constant and upright, pursuit of excellence.
Thank you, Ms. Sincere. Even with that comprehensive thank you that we did earlier on, I would like to express a special thank you to Ms. Yasha Lewis, who kept us entertained today with her talents. Ms. Lewis, we appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you remain standing while the graduates and the platform party will process out. Thank you for your presence here today, and thank you for supporting our graduates.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
Some Duke on the vibe.
This year, blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow you they go.
This year, good news, giant plenty bonding. Go to follow you they go.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life.
Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My papa is too shy, you don't fit for your hand. Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My papa is too shy, fit for your hand.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
This year, blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow you they go.
This year, good news, giant plenty bonding. Go to follow you they go.
This year, blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow you they go.
This year, good news, giant plenty bonding. Go to follow you they go.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life.
Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My papa is too shy, you don't fit for your hand. Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My papa is too shy, fit for your hand.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
This year, blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow you they go.
This year, good news, giant plenty bonding. Go to follow you they go.
This year, blessing, money, testimony. Go they follow, you they go.
This year, good news, Joyeux, plenty bonding. Go they follow, you they go.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life.
Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My Papa, you too shy, you don't fit for your hand. Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My Papa, you too shy, fit for your hand. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for this year, blessing, money, testimony. Go they follow, you they go.
This year, good news, Joyeux, plenty bonding. Go they follow, you they go.
Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My Papa, you too shy, you don't fit for your hand. Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My Papa, you too shy.